What's up, guys? It's John with National Sports Entertainment, and I wanted to do a recap of tonight and then go into tomorrow's college plays. We have a lengthy NBA day tomorrow, so I'm going to do a preview of that, but we'll go into that in finer detail. And I'll go into my college plays. College is all metrics, NBA is narratives. Obviously, we did really good with the NBA tonight. We went 4-0, got all the spreads. Even some upsets like Magic. It just made sense to me, but of course we're not always going to go perfect, but it was a good night. Tomorrow we have a bunch of, again, a lot of these are going to be narrative games. Blazers, Warriors, Wolves, Clippers. I think they're going to keep it close. By that I mean I think Bulls beating the Raptors makes sense. That way if the Pacers can't win, they're still in it. Thunder beating the Kings makes sense. Blazers make sense to win. So I'm not saying all this is going to happen, but I think they're going to keep it close. Wizards over the Hawks. Now, I'm not saying, again, it's all going to happen. What I mean is these games are going to be contingent on each other. And that's why, it just made no sense for the Magic to lose. That's why we made them a leg 3. So I always account for future matchups. And speaking of, here's how we did today. And again, I went over yesterday. I leg 4 Jake Paul. Put 8 units on him and he didn't cover, so he didn't win, so we didn't get that. But today and after the tail end of yesterday, we got some wins. We got a plus 100. But for tonight, as I always say, it's one sequence at a time, and we had a great night. Once again, we got a plus 200 this time. Ducks covering the Blackhawks. This is just these hockey metrics are literally me just taking teams that suck against the spread. And only if it's getting plus odds. Because if we're getting the goal and a half, then the odds aren't really there. And also it's picking the right games. Because, of course, they're not going to be paying out plus 180 more in hockey if they don't have to. So trying to pick ones where a lot of people probably were going to be on the Blackhawks here with the goal and a half or just the money line. So we got that, which is essentially 2 units. And in general, as you can see, but the most important thing is we closed out almost every leg 2, leg 3. We ran the Knicks cover as a leg 2, they did. We ran the Magic as a leg 3, they won. We did miss the Avalanche over, but we got the Wyoming cover leg 3, Heat cover leg 2, Morgan State cover leg 2. So very important. We hit the important ones, and every single sequence we close is a unit, except the Ducks, which is actually 2 units. So speaking of, just like always, everything's been updated, and now we are moving on to tomorrow. And here's my plays for tomorrow. So, again, not to make it quicker because I can go into each of these games individually, but I think by now I don't know the teams. I literally just picked the metrics. And now we're at a point in college basketball, like I've been telling you guys, history is not going to defy itself. And that's why there are no teams left in college that are outside of historical norms. You could argue Tulsa on the cover, and that's about it. And even they are in line with Pacific last year. But what we do have is a high amount of teams in the high 60s, low 70s, whereas historical norms, you don't typically have that. This is regarding their over-under cover or their cover against the spread. For example, you don't usually have more than 2-3 teams finish under 25% against the spread when one of them is as low as 15. Georgia State's one of those teams. So I do think that it makes sense that they would win and cover. And that's a leg 2. So we're just going to plug it in for our Oklahoma State loss. That one looked like a trap to me. That's why I went with Oklahoma State. Didn't pan out, but again, it was only a leg 1. And that's all you do. We just plug it in as a leg 2. The next one's going to be Stetson Lipscomb. They just played. They went way over. That's going to be fresh on the public's mind. Stetson's one of the top teams on the over. That, in my opinion, makes it where the public's going to be more inclined to bet the over. So, let's see. Here it is. Texas Southern did not cover Alcorn State. That was a leg 1. As I said, virtually all of our losses were leg 1s, which is great. What we want to do is, that's why I try and save the best ones for leg 2, leg 3. I try and pick my spot the best way I can. The rest of these plays are all going to be leg 1s, meaning just 1 unit. And this is them. So, now the Hornets already played, obviously. But for the rest of our college plays. So we're going to have Green Bay, Wisconsin covering Wright State. Again, wait, at least, I wouldn't lock it in now. I'd at least try and wait within a couple hours of the closing spread because it does move a decent bit. So you don't have to get it 5 minutes before the close. But to avoid clips, I always do like to try and get it at least, within a couple hours. I don't like to get it the night before. But either way, I like Green Bay, Wisconsin here to cover. I like Butler to cover Marquette. It kind of looks like a trap, and Butler's been pretty bad on the over, or on the cover. And Butler's also been bad on the over. So I paired them together, not a parlay, just they're both being played as leg ones. That game to go over and Butler to cover. I like Kent State and Ohio to go over because Kent State's pretty bad on the over. West Michigan and Miami, Ohio. I have that going over for the same reason as Kent State. And then finally, we got Toledo, Central Michigan. Toledo's nothing crazy, high 60s, but they've been slowing down, and that I've noticed that's been a trend as well. So I like that to go under. I think the people are still going to slam the over. So nothing crazy, just again, mostly leg ones. We got Georgia State I like a little more than the others, as well as the Stetson under. I'm going to look into hockey. Hockey's been great to us, I'm not going to lie. We've only been 15 and 13. But mind you, this is picking 50-50s or more or worse because the only ones I've picked so far have been under overs. And if I'm picking covers, I'm always taking the -1.5. So you can see we got plus 150, plus 125, plus 225, plus 129, plus 170, plus 160, plus 165. And today we got plus 200. So it's funny because these were all leg ones. So if I ran one of these as a leg two, it's obviously even going to pay out even better. So this kind of fits nice with the system where if I were to run one of these as a leg two, we could actually fare better after losing a leg one. There's a lot of ways this can be used, but I've been sticking to leg ones because it pays the best. Instead of taking a risk on a leg 2-3, we're still getting 2-3 units sometimes, not 3, but between 1.5 and 2.5 units on a leg one. And the Ducks came through with the empty netters. That's been happening just so much more now with you're going to see that. And I'm sure Vegas knows, but at the end of the day, again, that's why I try and pick my spot. I'm not going to have every favorite covering or every team covering because they're probably going to have maybe one or two cover where you're going to get these kind of odds. The other ones is going to be a team that's minus 400. So even if you take them to cover, you're not really getting the odds. So that's why hockey, I don't just play them all like basketball. I have to be very meticulous with it. And I say we've done a really good job with hockey so far. Again, thus far, it's paid out. As you can see from these not 8 wins. Leafs, I don't do who they cover. I just do who it was. There we go. So Leafs. We have Leafs, Ducks, Predators, Leafs, Canadiens, Avalanche, Flames. That's 7, and it's paid out way greater than 7 units. So, yeah, hockey's good. Baseball's going to be the same way, so I'm really looking forward to that. Sometimes in baseball, you'll see plus 250, plus 300. We can mess around with adjusted lines. We can do a lot of stuff with the system. So, everyone that's, tailing, it sounds cocky, but I see why. And great night to everybody. A lot of people telling me they hit parlays tonight, so good job there. I don't play it myself, but if anyone ran a parlay with the NBA, they did good. I know someone who ran a parlay. He got fourth, and a lot of it was his own picks, but he got 40-1, and he used some of my picks, but most of a lot of them were his own intuition. So just it's great seeing people from whether it's something that I came up with, whether I had one pick in the parlay or whatever the reason is. It's just good to see people profiting. This is what got us shut down the last time, by the way. Too many people tailing and profiting, which is fine. I take it as a badge of honor. But yeah, so great night. This is our day for tomorrow. And I will go into our hockey and NBA plays in the next video. So take care and happy earnings.